Hey guys, it's Leo here from Axiom EDC. I wanted to walk you guys through the assembly process of the BreakPoint. You saw a few teasers of the components that go into it, so I'll just walk through how this is assembled, how the magnets are configured, just for your curiosity, and if you end up taking yours apart, you know how to get it back together. So the breakpoint itself, each half is made up of two titanium pieces. There's the threaded body here that has a female thread. This accepts the 6 millimeter diameter magnets, and then the male threaded cap that has an internal bore that fits the 8 millimeter magnets. What I typically do is I use a steel plate for ease of assembly since I'm doing a lot of these, but you don't need to do that. So in each of the body pieces, it will take 3 of the 6 millimeter by, I believe, 4 millimeter tall neodymium magnets. And so these are going to be attracting at the center. So I'm going to break those apart here and drop them both down in. And then opposed to how you may think, the magnets between this half and this half are actually going to internally oppose each other, pressing them up against the inside of this body and then keeping them down at the end of this body here. So even if you do change to maybe two magnets in either half, you don't need to change a spacer or anything like that. They'll still be pressing up against the ends because internally they'll be opposing each other and pushing themselves to the outsides. So let's see. So to get the magnets in the caps, again, it's going to be 3 of the 8 millimeter magnets. Break off 3 here. And then you're going to want to make sure those are opposing. So that's pushing force. That doesn't want to stick down in there. So I'm going to take that and put them into the cap here. So you'll feel that that's opposing each other. When you thread it together, that's what's going to hold it together. But before you do that, you could take your O-ring. So these are actually going to come with two different profile O-rings. Let's see if I could zoom in here. So this is a square profile or an X profile O-ring compared to traditional circular profile O-ring. So they're both the same thickness, diameters, but it will just give you a little bit of a different style, and the way it protrudes is a little bit different. So I thought this was something cool to incorporate in the design, and you'll actually get a set of both, so you could change it to your preference. So before you thread on the cap, you're going to want to install your O-ring on that seat on the body portion here, and then um, this will thread right onto here. And again, you'll feel that opposing magnet when you're threading it on. What I add to each of these is a little bit of Vibratite. So this helps with just keeping this seated in place and not unintentionally unthreading while you're using it. So it's a low strength thread locker, and it doesn't actually thread, but it just resist unthreading. So it just is a little bit of a gummy consistency that helps for these types of assemblies and to keep them in place. So I'm just putting a tiny bit on there in the threads, and this will be good. You could unthread it and thread it again, and it will continue to keep that stickiness to it. So these will just thread together right down until you feel it seat. That's going to be it. And then we'll install the magnets in the other cap. Again, I'm going to pull 3 off this stack here. I'm going to make sure they're opposing. So I feel them opposing into there, and then I'm going to put them into the cap so that, again, they're not going to fall out. They're pushing against each other here. O-ring goes on. Like that. For the square ones, uh, they'll take a little more effort because you don't want to have them twisted. So that's seated flat all the way around there. Again, you'll take your cap that will be opposing and thread it in. First, we'll put the thread locker. Just a tiny dab on the threads, so you can see it's almost nothing there. Thread these together, and then you'll feel those should be attracting this way. attracting this way. So any configuration you put these in, they will attract to each other. They're not going to repel in one direction if they were traditionally stacked inside, as opposed to being internally opposing. 3/8 ball, and there you go. That's the full assembly. So it's a fairly simple process. It can be broken down and put back together. Um, So if you need to, you have a reference for if you want to reconfigure things. I recommend leaving it in this configuration. But again, you may have preferences. These are N48 magnets. It's possible to get N52s, will be a little bit stronger, but I think these are tuned pretty well for the assembly and the type of play that it's designed for. So again, thanks for watching. And this is the BreakPoint. There's still a few available as of making the video, but they're going quick. Thanks.